Okay, good morning, dear student. I myself, Mr. S. Paul, TGT Social Studies, Zandi, West Imphal, Manipur. I am coming here today once again to teach you a very important chapter on your geography. Geography chapter 1, resources. Okay, my dear student, let us see what do you mean by resources. Each and everybody know what is resources, but we may not be aware how it become a substance, a resource. First, let us see the definitions. Each definitions, anything that can be used to satisfy a need is a resources. In fact, my dear student, the water, it become a resource when you drink it when you feel thirsty, when you utilize it for cooking of your foods, or might be washing of your clothes. That become a resources. And then the electricity that run your locomotives, or might be that run your machines and engines, or including your electronic gadgets, they become a resource only when we utilize them. And bricks that are utilized for pulling and supplying of your goods and needs. Vegetables become a resource only when you utilize it for your own satisfaction and when we consume it. In fact, my dear student, definition doesn't symbolize that they are simply a resource, but they are a resource when we utilize them and when we find something satisfaction on them. Then what do you mean by utility and usability? Utility or usability is what makes an object a substance or a substance a resource. My dear student, a resource, we have to understand it by understanding its value. Some of the value of a resource might be very high, some of them might be low. Okay, anyway, firstly, let us see what is a value. Value means worth. A thing or an object become resource only when their value is identified. The value of a diamond might be very high, of course. The value of a stick or the value of a stone might be lower than that. But then, each and every substances or an object has its value, and that value makes it a resource. Now let us see how does a substance become a resource. In fact, my dear student, there are two factors that help in changing a substances into a resource: time and technology. Because of time and because of its technology that is utilized or invented by human being, help us in changing a substance into a resource. In fact, my dear student, we have got three types of resources. Those three types of resources are, we have got natural resources, human-made resources, and human resources. As I have already told you, technology is invented by us, and technology or any other invention has been done by human being. So here you can see, people, we ourselves are the most important resource because our ideas, our knowledge, our inventions and discovery all plays a part in making and creating a resources all the more. The stone cannot become simply a resource. It becomes a resource only when it is utilized by us. So we are utilizing the stone, we are utilizing any minerals and other substances for our own benefits. And all these are due to technology. So my dear student, it makes a resource. Now let us see and let us look into the diagram of types of resources. In diagrams of types of resources, as I said, we have got resources. First, we have got natural resources. And these natural resources, level of development, we have got actual resources and potential resources. Then on the basis of origin, we have got abiotic and biotic resources. Then distribution, we have got ubiquitous and localized. And in its exhaustibility, we have got renewable and non-renewable resources. The second one is human-made, and the third one is the human resources. Okay. Now, let us see the classifications in a little bit detail. And firstly, let us know what is natural resources. Resources that are drawn from nature and used without much modifications are known as natural resources. Why natural? You don't make it, we don't modify it. Without human aid, they are coming up naturally. So because of that, they are known as natural resources. Examples here it gives are water, air, soils and mineral resources. Now let us see the classification of resources. Firstly, on the basis of its development and use. On the basis of its development and use, we have got actual resources. Actual resources are those resources whose quantity is already known. We identify it and we already know what are its quantity and quality. They are used at the present time. And example here it gives are coal in Ruhr, that is Germany, petroleum in West Asia, and dark soil of the Deccan. Then secondly, my dear student, we have got it is the potential resources. The entire quantity is not yet known. We know that it is there, but we cannot identify nor we cannot say how much quantity and quality it have got. And it is not yet being used at the present moment, but we know that in future they will be very useful. Example here it gives uranium, that is in Ladakh of our country. Then secondly, let us see on the basis of their origin, they are classified into biotic and abiotic. Biotic means living things and abiotic means non-living things. And your example it gives is biotic, living things, organic matter, living things, oyster, blue crab, zooplankton, okay, all this. Then abiotic. Abiotic means non-living things. Here, my dear student, abiotics are very important. They play a part in our life. They are regarded as non-living things because they are not moving, running, nor they are not breathing. They are important because they play a part in our lives. The climate, the sunlight, temperature, nutrient enrichment, humidity and soil, all are playing a part in our human lives. So, on the basis of origin, we classified resources into biotic and abiotic. Then, on the basis of exhaustibility or stock, we have got two classification. Number one, it is renewable resources. Those resources that get renewed or replenished within a short durations of times during the lifespans of a human being. They are regarded as renewable resources. They are unlimited. You use them as much as possible. They can be polluted, but they cannot be gone forever. So the example ones are solar, wind, soil, forest, and water, etc. These resources get replenished, they get renewed very short, within short period of time. So they are regarded as renewable resources. Then secondly, we have got non-renewable resources. Those non-renewable resources are those resources that took a very, very long time in its formation. They have got limited stocks. They are requiring geological age for its formation, millions of years. Nobody could live for such a long period of time. So, because of that, it is regarded as non-renewable resources. Example, coal, petroleum, and natural gas, etc. Fourthly, we have got minus. Student, we have got on the basis of distributions. On the basis of distributions, also we have got number one, it is ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means present everywhere on this atmosphere or on this earth, I mean to say. Resources that are found everywhere. You may go to America, you may go to Japan, or you may go to any places in the world, but all these resources are found, so they are regarded as ubiquitous. The example ones are air, soil, water, etc. And secondly, we have got localized. Localized means found in one locality or in one certain places. They are not found everywhere. They are found in one particular places. Example, copper, iron, etc. Okay. Then, my dear student, in distributions also we have got some factors that help in the distributions of resources. The physical factors itself in the distributions of resources are like terrain, climate, and altitudes. They play a part in the distributions of resources on this earth. Okay. Now see, my dear student, let us see classifications of a resource, a diagram. So as I said, we have got resources on its usability. We have got, you see, development and usability, actual resources, potential resources. On its origin, we have got biotic and abiotic. Then on its renewability, we have got renewable and non-renewables. And besides, in distribution, we have got what it is, localized and ubiquitous. And in fact, the third one is natural resources, human-made resources. Second one is human resources, human-made resources. These are the important resources. These are its classifications of resources in their different forms. Okay. Now let us see and let us go to the next. Now we have got human resources. We human beings. I have already told you. You have already known that we are the most important resources because we are the one who transform an object or a thing into a resources. How we become unimportant resources? Human resources are important because they can be transformed with the help of education and health. And not only that, because of their knowledge, skills, and technology, they were able to transform the resource from their original form to the artificial form, that is making for them and inventing for them. So human resources plays a part. In fact, my dear student, what are the different types of human-made resources? Man-made resources are those resources when a human being, for its utility and by finding its value, when it changes a substance or a thing from their original form, it is known as man-made resources. Examples are buildings, bridges, roads, machinery, technology, and vehicles. So yeah, we have got buildings, roads, vehicles, then monies, then we have got the tools and other gadgets, then we have got the industries where things are being invented and manufactured. So all this plays a part, and they are the examples of man-made resources. Okay, my dear student, do you think that all the resources are unlimited? No, not at all. Some of the resources, they need to be protected, they need to be cared because they can be gone on this earth. Now you see, resources conservation, sustainable development. Conservation means what? Using resources carefully and giving them time to get renewed. Conservation doesn't mean that we should not use resources. No, use resources as much as you want, but care for the conserve. You have to use it and make time for them to get replenished. Then what do you mean by sustainable development? Sustainable development doesn't mean that stopping of the utilizations of resources. No, we have to balance, we have to use it by balancing the need of the present moment and for future generation. So we have to use and balance in nature. That is the conservation and the principles of sustainability. Okay, my dear student, you and me, we are responsible citizens, right? Then what are your duties? What are our duties? Before closing down, let us see. So, duty of a citizens. Number one, all of us must ensure that all uses of renewable resources are sustainable. We have to see that the resources are being sustainable. And not only that, the diversity is second one of life on earth is conserved. Utilizing of resources at the cost of another resources is not good. It doesn't mean that don't utilize. Utilize it, no problem. But what we have to do? We have to utilize it by conserving the other and the diversity of life on earth. Lastly, third point, we must see that damage to natural environment is minimized. Mitigation must be done so that Damage to environment should not be done because of us. So my dear student, these are the duties of a responsible citizen, you and me. So this is the end of your chapter resources today. But before calling it a day, I would like to use this time for asking you a classroom recapitulations. So classroom recapitulations. All of you, look at the board, think it, and give me the answer. What are natural resources? Give the difference between biotic and abiotic resources. Okay. Give any two examples of natural resources. Define value. Define sustainable development. I hope you are clear with the questions and everything is fine with you. Okay, before I let you go, let me come to the conclusion by giving you an home assignment. Home assignment. Question number 1. Describe how resources are classified. Here you have to discuss all the things. Number 1, on the basis of stocks and use. Number 2, on the basis of their origin. Number 3, on the basis of exhaustibility. And number 4, on the basis of their distribution. Okay, question number 2. Draw a neat diagram on the classifications of resources. Question number 3. Write in your own words the types of resources found in and around your locality. All must write it. Everywhere on the earth, every locality have got their own resources. You have to write on that. Thank you so much for attentive. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.